Guys, I was here and I was thinking about something, because for me, actually, I get time to think with my notebook, I write ideas, what. So, I was here and I was thinking, why do most people fear risks in life? Because I have heard so many people telling me that, Brian, I cannot risk my money, I cannot go into poultry, I cannot go into farming. Why? And I asked them why. And they just tell me that farming is risky. It's like risking your money into something that you don't know how it's going to perform. And they gave me excuses like, these poultry diseases, and, things happen abruptly, which you have not, you are not prepared for them. And I told them, yes, you are right. Like any other business or like anything in life, there are challenges. But, and I was here and I was thinking, why do people fear risks in life? Because most people spend their life trying to avoid risks. You know why the rich are rich and the poor are poor and they are still in absolute poverty? The secret is simple. The rich people are risk takers, yes, and they see great opportunities like most people are not seeing. Where there is risk, you will find a rich man going into that risk. And you ask yourself, why? Why is he going into that risk? Doesn't he see what I am seeing? The answer is simple. The rich people do not fear risks because in their makeup or they discovered one of the major secrets to wealth is to be a risk taker in life. That is one of the greatest secret the rich have, because most people want to invest in safe investments. For example, rentals. They say that if you invest in rentals, your money is safe. But I tell you, no, your money will never be safe in rentals. Why? Because actually, let me give you an example. Someone investing in rentals and you invest your 50 million, 40, 30, when you are bad love. You've gathered that money for 5 years of hard labor and struggle, and you put that money into something which has little gains in the long run. These rich people, what they do when they see an opportunity, that's why we have few rich people in the world. Why? Because they see opportunities which other people are not seeing. So they go for that opportunity and they make huge chunks of money. Why? Because they are alone there. There are few people who are rich. Most people are just poor. So they see opportunity, they go and get that opportunity because they are risky takers. They only manage one skill, is to manage risks. When risks come, when you see a risk, do not fear to take it. But what you have to do is ask yourself, how can I manage this risk? Yes, poultry business is a bit risky. But the question would be for someone who wants wealth, would be, how am I going to minimize these risks? How am I going to handle these risks if they come along my way? That's the secret of the rich people. Before going into something, they do what we call calculated risks. They calculate each and everything. They articulate each and everything. Then they go into something with a solution that if at all I find this, how am I going to overcome it? Then for the poor people, what they do, they know that something is risky and they try to avoid it, thinking that they are safe. They pray, they have a mentality of praying it safe. That when you find a risk, don't go into a risk because you crash what. So whenever they find a risk, they make a shortcut. They try to avoid it. That's not life. Life is full of risks. In whatever we do, we are in risk. Everywhere is risky. Even that business you want to do is risky. You are just borrowing your money in rentals because it is also a risky business, but because you cannot see it, because there is a veil over your face, you cannot see that it is a risk also. Because it cannot sustain you and your family. It cannot pay your school fees for your children, cannot buy you daily food, you cannot. So at the end of the day, you will still be poor. Why? Because you fear risk. So that is a secret of the rich people. They are risk takers, but they take what we call calculated risks. And that's why they are thriving every day. They are making huge amount of money. Why? Because they are alone in that game. Majority of people, millions of people fear to take risks. And the rich person will take the risk, and you all say, wow, how come this person, how can you risk your money like that? Because, that fear, we are driven by emotions of fear. Whenever fear comes in our life, it makes our mind to stand still. And the mind cannot function when fear comes. When you are terrified, you cannot think beyond. So when risks come, you get that fear, that phobia of fear. You are taken by emotions, you are taken by feelings, and you cannot think beyond. You cannot find a solution. But for the rich people, they are not driven by fear. Why? Because they are already risk takers. They have taken so much risks in life, and therefore they have learned how to manage risks when they come their way. So for them, they use what we call logical thinking, logic. They use logic instead of using the emotions of fear. So that's what I wanted to share with you, my viewers, that in life, that's life. We are in a jungle. Life is like a jungle whereby the fittest survive. One of the greatest laws or principles of money is that when it comes to money, we are not emotional. When you decide emotions, when you let emotions lead you when it comes to money, that means you will become a failure. Because in money, we do not allow emotions to take over us. Yes, that is one of the greatest principles of money. Never allow emotions to drive you. Why? Because we know that when emotions come, we have emotions of fear, emotions of fearing. When those emotions combine together and they consume you, that means you are going to make long decisions that will affect you in the long run. For example, people take loans to build houses for their parents. They take loans to build their own houses, which are even liabilities in the long run. But because they use emotions, that my parents want me to build for them, my wife, my kids, and you go and take a loan before even looking at your income. And later on, you are in a bad debt and you cannot pay it. But because you were driven by emotions, so you end up, you end up in financial catastrophe. So never allow emotions drive you. So I always ask myself, do you think the rich wants to lose their money? Because for you don't want to invest into that business. As you say, poultry is a risky business, farming is risky business. Do you think for the rich to invest into that business, they don't love their money? They want to lose their money? No. They also need their money, same as you also want your money. But because for them, they do not allow emotions to control them, because they know that principle of money, that in money, we never allow emotions to control us. We do what we call logical thinking. They think and come up with a solution. They know that risk is here, and they try to manage the risk, not to run away from the risk. Because the moment you run away from the risk, you will never gain what you want. But what are you supposed to do? When risk comes, when you see that this business is too risky, as many of you say that poultry is risky, okay? What is a rich man's mind? For them, they will know that this business is risky. But how am I going to manage the risk? They will not run away from the business, because they know in the long run, if I manage the risks, it's gonna be lucrative. It's one of the lucrative or most profitable ventures one can go into. So for them, their eyes are not on the risks. Their eyes are on how to manage these risks so that I can get that profits or that money that I want out of this business. What about the poor man? A poor man will receive the risks. After seeing the risks, he will look at his money, and then he will say, oh, I cannot afford to lose my money. No, because the risk is too much. I cannot afford to lose my money. Then they step back. They will not invest. Why? Because emotions have taken them over, the emotions of fear. But you need to overcome that. Great wealth, guys, lies in the presence of risk. Yes, high risk places, it's where great wealth lies. But most people think that they will get rich because they want to be in comfort zone. There is no wealth in comfort zone. I tell you this. So you better get off that mindset of wanting, you don't want to be a risk taker in life. You want to achieve all your goals while in comfort zone. You think that rentals will make you rich because it's a comfort zone. Yeah, that's a long mentality. Great wealth lies in the presence of high risks. You'll never find a successful man who started with owning rentals is not there. All great men, all rich men found great wealth after starting up risky businesses which the common people fear to start. That's where great wealth lies. So for me, I've been reading successful stories of different people, all those people who are successful in life. And they always tell you that never be in comfort zone because great wealth does not lie in comfort zone. Great wealth lies in the presence of risk, where most people fear to go. That is where great wealth lies. Nothing for free, nothing comes without struggle. And for us, we want to achieve wealth without struggling for it. You cannot achieve it. I assure you that. I'll give you an example of a lion. So on this risky taking, I'll give you a live example about a lion. The lion does not mean that, because we all know that lion is the king of the jungle. But for it being the king of the jungle, it does not mean that it is the most the most huge animal or the most biggest animal in the jungle. The the elephant is the most biggest. It does not mean that the lion is the most intelligent animal. We all know that the hare is the most intelligent animal. We have all read about the Wakaima, stories about the hare. We have read so many stories, meaning the hare is the most intelligent animal in the jungle. But it is not the king of the jungle. The lion is the elephant is the most big, but it's not the king of the jungle. We know that the giraffe is the most tallest animal in the jungle, but it's not the king of the jungle. But the lion, the medium animal, is the king. Why? All starts here. It is the mentality. When a lion, because the lion knows that no animal can conquer it. When a lion sees an elephant, the lion does not get scared that, the elephant is going to kill me. No. When a lion sees an elephant, it just thank God that I have found food. Oh, I have found breakfast, I have found lunch, I have found supper. For it just sees food. That is the mentality. And it goes, and before even going to attack the elephant, the lion will just take what we call calculated risks, because it's risking its own life to go after that elephant because it is a huge animal. But it will think, how am I going to get that elephant and eat it? It will not run away. That is what we call risks. When risks comes in life, do not try to avoid them. The lion will not avoid the risks of attacking that that elephant. Though it's huge, I know the risks are far greater than you. They are big. You cannot tolerate them. But learn from this scenario of a lion. The lion will just take what we call calculated risks and know, how am I going to attack it? If I bite here, if I bite the neck, that means the whole thing will go down. That's what the lion does. And it ends up eating that huge animal. Why? The mindset. It is a risky taker. That animal is a risky taker. It does not fear risks in life. But it takes what we call calculated risks. It knows that I will not bite the leg. If I can't bite the leg, it will kick me away. So I just have to bite the neck. If I get the neck, then I have got the whole thing and it will fall down. That's what it does. That's what we call calculated risks. I know poultry is a risky business, yes, but it has huge wealth hidden in it. And great people, great rich men, they are in agriculture. Why? Because they know great wealth is hidden there. How about the poor? The poor people don't want to go there because whenever they see risks and they cannot tolerate risks. Whenever they see risk, they take a shortcut. They just go away from risks. But rich people knows how to manage risks. They don't run away from risks, but they manage the risks and they end up being successful more and more and more each and every day because they are alone in the business. These are the things they don't want to tell you, you know, the successful people. They will not tell you because they know you will become their competitors in the long run. So for them, they are risk takers. They take the risks, well-calculated risks, and they come up with huge wealth and great wealth for ages. Yet for the poor, they want to play it safe. They don't want to take risks, and they end up being in absolute poverty because they think they are playing it safe. But you end up not even rich. You know, you end up poor. So that's life. Life is a jungle whereby the fittest survive. See you in my next video. God bless you. Love you.
Nothing is free. If you want to be successful, you have to pay the price. Nothing is easy. Easy means you have to think different. You have to do different. For example, early days in my company, when some ideas come to my desk, Jack, this is a great idea, and I look at everybody. Everybody say it is a good idea, I normally throw it into the rubbish. Because everybody say it is good, then all the other people think of. If everybody say this is going to be very tough, I'm very interested in that tough question. And I pick up and say, how can we do in a different way? This is to be unique, to be different. Nothing